Okay guys, so today I wanted to do a video on deworming your horse. Deworming is a very important task to do because it gets rid of any parasites that are inside the horse. Now, for the most part, if you deworm your horse regularly, you won't notice much of a difference. It doesn't really do that much. Now, depending on the region that you're in and your horse, you're going to have to deworm with different types of wormers at a different time span. So I deworm Bugsy twice a year with Zimmermectin. Sometimes I'll use this one or I'll use the gold brand. It doesn't really matter. They're pretty much the exact same. And I only do her worming twice a year because she doesn't need any more than that. We're in an area where there aren't a lot of worms. And she, for the most part, can fight off almost anything that comes at her. So for the most part, we just do deworming 2 times a year. Some people do it 3 times a year. Some people do 4. It just kind of, again, depends on you, your horse, and where you're at. Some people also say to change out your wormers, use different brands. I've never noticed that it causes a problem if you don't. Again, because we don't really have very strong worms. Now, for the most part, wormers are fairly inexpensive. They range from anywhere between, like, where I am, anywhere between $5 and $20 a wormer, which isn't terribly bad. So they come in little syringes. Some of them come in bags, this particular one. So after you get it out of the packaging, it should look like this. There's going to be a little number gauge on it, which I actually have it upside down for you guys. There we go. And you want to make sure that you put it on the weight limit or the weight that is your horse. Now, Bugsy's about 900 pounds. So I don't want to give her the full dosage because that can actually be harmful to her body. Too much of this chemical in ratio to their body is not good for them. But if you give them not enough, then it doesn't really do what it's supposed to. So you want to make sure that you get as accurate as possible. And if you don't know what your horse's weight is, you can always call your veterinarian and they can give you an estimation on what your horse is. Some wormers have the little stopper as a screw. This particular one is a pull. So I'm going to go just short of 1,000 pounds. So as you can see, the 1,000-pound mark is there. I'm just going to go slightly below that, because I don't want to give her too terribly much. If I could go to 1,000, but I don't really want to. So now that I've got it all set up, the first thing I want to do is desensitize. So I'm going to just grab onto the nose piece. And I'm going to let her just get used to this being by her nose. You get it used to being by the side of her face. Now, horses can't see where the wormer is right now. So, now, why was Bugsy doing that response? Because she knows that this wormer has a weird taste to it. So, she's thinking that this is going to have a lot of... She's thinking that that was going to have taste to it. I'm not actually going to put it in her mouth. I want to make sure that she's at least semi-okay with it. For the most part, Bugsy she's pretty good about worming. She's not the best at it. But if you have a horse that's hard to worm, if you take one of these syringes and you clean it out thoroughly, you can fill it with applesauce and just get your horse used to this. We did this with Bugsy a lot before. And it makes it so that they don't see this as something that's really bad for the most part. They'll see it as just something that's a normal thing. And some actually get to the point where they enjoy it. Before I go on the other side of her, I forgot to mention, most horses don't like this, so they can pull back. I'm not going to have Bugsy tied up when I do this, because the horse could pull back and hurt themselves. I could leave her tied up, but I find that it's easier if I just hold onto her halter. So the way that I like to do is I like to hold onto their halter. It's the easiest way, that way you have a good hold on them, and then just put your thumb in their lip, so that they open their mouth, as if you were to put a bit in. And you don't want to go across their mouth with the wormer, because then that'll put all of it on their tongue. You have to shoot it up into their throat. It's the easiest way for them to take it. So I'm going to put it directly up into her mouth. And shoot quickly. And then you want to do this as quickly as possible, that way it's painless for them as possible. And the reason why I'm holding her head up is because I don't want her dropping her head and spitting this out. So I'm just going to wait for her to show me that she's swallowed it, which she... There we go. This could take a little bit of time. She's pretty good about just letting it go. Good girl. Good girl. And that's about as easy as it gets. Worming horses isn't that difficult, personally. She's just going to sit here for a minute and pout. The thing that you really don't want to do when you deworm a horse is a lot of people like to go and grab a treat immediately after they finish worming their horse. That's not a good idea because then the horse tastes the wormer, and that's not a good flavor for them. So then they think that that is more wormer. So you want to let them have a moment with it and let it get out of their system before you give them a treat. You also don't want to feed a horse directly after worming them or go for a ride. You want to give their system a time to soak it in. So if you feed them right after you worm them, you can actually make it so the wormer just pushes right out of their system. Similar to if you were to feed a horse grain and then give them a flake of alfalfa or hay of some description, it will just come right out of their system and they won't even have time to process it. So you want to make sure that your horse is eaten before this and wait a little while after they eat. There we go. And she finished it. You know when your horse is finished it because they'll start licking and chewing and trying to get it out of their mouth. And to coat their mouth with saliva so that it makes it go away. Good girl, Bugs. I heard her swallow the last of it. Worming shouldn't take very long. It shouldn't be something to where your horse is rearing and flipping themselves over or anything like that. It should be very simple, very easy, and painless for most parties. I hope this video helps, guys. We didn't get any wormer anywhere, which is good. Like I said, if you do have a horse that's a little bit more... there's a little bit on her lip she's trying to get rid of, I think. But if you do have a horse that's a little more resistant to the wormer, again, the applesauce trick works the best. That's how we got her to be pretty good about it. And if you guys have any more questions, let me know in the comment section, and we're going to end it there.